Samantha Miller had always lived a life of routine. Born and raised in a small, uneventful town in Ohio, her days followed the same steady rhythm. Work from home, quick visits with her parents, the occasional dinner with friends, and weekends filled with laundry and tidying her modest apartment. At 28, she worked as a freelance graphic designer. Her career provided enough stability, but her existence felt muted, lacking excitement or spark. Deep down, she often wondered if she was meant for something greater, something unpredictable that would make her heart race in ways she had never known. That shift began one late summer afternoon when her best friend, Claire, convinced her to attend a charity basketball game in Cleveland. Samantha wasn't the type to care about sports, but Claire's enthusiasm was relentless. "Come on, you might meet someone interesting," Claire teased with a grin, pushing a pair of tickets into her hand. The arena buzzed with energy the moment they arrived. Music pounded through the speakers, kids cheered from the stands, and the smell of buttered popcorn and grilled hot dogs hung in the air. Samantha found herself sitting quietly in the bleachers, scanning the players as they warmed up. Then she noticed him. One man immediately stood out from the rest, tall, broad-shouldered, and radiating a quiet confidence that seemed to reach across the court. His laughter was warm, his smile genuine, and there was something magnetic about the way he carried himself. Claire leaned over and whispered, "That's Marcus Carter. Played college ball a few years back. Now he's big on community outreach. Honestly, he's amazing." Samantha tried to look away, but her eyes kept finding him. She watched how he high-fived the kids, showed them tricks with the ball, and made sure no one was left out. His presence was more than charm, it was kindness. People naturally seemed to feel safe around him. After the game ended, a small meet and greet was held. Claire tugged Samantha along until they stood before Marcus's table, where he was laughing and chatting with fans. Samantha's face warmed when his gaze met hers. His eyes were deep brown, gentle yet sharp, and for a moment it felt like he could see past her carefully guarded exterior. "Hi," Marcus said, extending his hand with an easy smile. "I don't think we've met before." Samantha swallowed, then shook his hand, startled by both the firmness of his grip and the spark of energy in the touch. "No, I'm just visiting with my friend. Great game, by the way." "Thanks," he replied, flashing a grin that made her stomach flutter. "I just try to keep it fun for the kids. That's what matters most." The exchange was brief, but his voice lingered in her mind long after. That evening, while Claire chattered about the game on the ride home, Samantha barely listened. She kept replaying Marcus's smile, his words, and that inexplicable feeling that her world had tilted ever so slightly. For the first time in years, her predictable life seemed to have cracked open, allowing something new to slip in. 2 days later, her phone buzzed with a message request on social media. Her heart skipped a beat when she saw the name, Marcus Carter. He remembered her. "It was nice meeting you. If you're free, I'd love to grab coffee sometime." Her pulse quickened. She typed and erased her reply at least a dozen times before finally pressing send. "I'd like that." They met at a cozy coffee shop downtown. The moment she spotted him by the window, dressed casually in a white shirt and jeans, she realized something unusual. He stood out without even trying. When she joined him, their conversation flowed as if they had known each other for years. They talked about everything. Her freelance design work, his outreach projects, their families, their hopes for the future. Samantha laughed more in those 2 hours than she had in months. What struck her most wasn't charm, it was sincerity. Marcus didn't rely on flashy stories or exaggerated achievements. He listened intently, responded thoughtfully, and made her feel as if every word she spoke truly mattered. For the first time in a long while, Samantha felt genuinely seen. One coffee led to dinners. Dinners turned into late-night walks through the city. They shared pieces of their childhood, hers filled with quiet suburban comfort, his shaped by the challenges of growing up in a vibrant but difficult city neighborhood. They discovered mutual loves for music, unplanned midnight drives, and quirky hidden restaurants that few others knew about. Weeks blurred into months, and Samantha realized her life was changing. Marcus pushed her gently beyond her comfort zone. He encouraged her to submit her artwork to galleries, something she had always been too timid to attempt. He invited her to volunteer at community events, where she met people whose resilience humbled and inspired her. One evening after a fundraiser, they sat together by the river, the city lights reflecting in the water. Marcus turned to her, his voice low and steady. "You've got more in you than you give yourself credit for," he said. "You play it safe, but I can see the fire inside you. Don't hide it." The words struck her deeply. No one had ever spoken to her like that before, not only recognizing who she was, but who she had the potential to become. Her friends began to notice the difference. Claire teased her about the constant glow in her face. Her parents remarked on her newfound confidence. Even her clients pointed out that her designs carried more daring, creativity, and heart. But it wasn't just Marcus changing her. It was the way he inspired her to believe in herself. Not everyone approved, of course. Some relatives whispered disapproval when they learned about Marcus, expecting someone different for her. There were questions, looks, judgment. Samantha wrestled with it, but Marcus never forced anything. Instead, he reminded her with calm certainty. People will always have opinions. What matters is what you feel, and what we choose together. That unshakable strength in him became the thing she admired most. Months later, Samantha stood in a small Cleveland gallery, her artwork displayed for the very first time. The room buzzed with strangers admiring her designs, yet her eyes kept drifting back to Marcus. He stood proudly beside her, introducing her with glowing words. "She's the most talented artist I know." Emotion filled her chest. She realized how far she had come, from the quiet woman hiding behind routine, to someone brave enough to chase her passion and show her fire. As they left the gallery hand in hand, Marcus leaned down and whispered with a smile, "See? I told you there's a fire in you." Samantha's heart overflowed. She knew now that this wasn't just a love story. It was transformation. Marcus had helped her see a version of herself she had always hoped was there. And from that day forward, she knew she could never return to the muted life she once lived. Meeting him had truly changed everything.